grateful that I get to live longer than he did, and I hope that brings him some sort of joy wherever he is.
It's also a time, I think, to celebrate your mom for holding the fort and being able to raise children like you, because it's not easy at that young age to lose a partner.
Wow. My mom
is a lot, because I know how it is with my mom. Once you've lived with someone for a number of years, they become bonded, and so taking the person away or the person leaving just like that, it's a lot. Not just for the partner alone, but then the children again, the impact. It's a lot. It was a lot for me, getting to also remember my dad. Oftentimes I try to not remember because it takes me to a place of crying, tears, and all of it. I still cannot resonate with the fact that he's dead.
I know, so, for me it's like been many years, but still, whenever I talk about it, my voice cracks. I'm like, when will you get over this?
The guilt, let me quickly talk. So we do a lot of things with money. Money can do just as much. But the guilt for me is the number, that year he died, when I decided to just be myself and focus on myself so much. Because we're best friends, we talk daily. We can talk 3 times a day. And I started reducing it as I got older, and I thought that, let me just be myself. And he would call up like, hey, why do you want to see me? I just want to see you. And you see, and that period is when he died. So the guilt of not being available at that time for me is a lot for me. So if you can,
so for me, I envy you guys the memories that you had. You had enough years. I didn't have that.
We have to move quickly now. When we return, we look into the top stories today. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, thank you for staying with us. Let's quickly head straight to the papers now. And I begin with the Punch newspaper. The major headline here says, states cry for calls, cops, bandits change strategies, attack schools en masse. 130 secondary schools in Zamfara deserted, communities shut. 315 secondary schools in Kebbi lack security, says NUT chairman, as the National Union of Teachers chairman. No school safe until government negotiates with bandits, Sheikh Gumi speaking there. And then we look at some other stories here. Police intensify search for Super TV CEO's killers block account. We remember that story over the weekend. A lot of reactions to it. APC fixes convention for October. Crisis in state persists. EFCC demands Ogun Assembly financial records. Probes alleged fraud. Then we look at NDLE arrests security agents selling drugs to undergraduates, cultists. Osun clears 1,023 hectares for cocoa, cassava, tomato cultivation. And then recapitalization, insurance industry assets rise to 2.2 trillion naira. Who has the major story here?
So the major story, just an article in Punch taking a holistic report of the recent abductions that we have and the effect that it has. So in Zamfara State, we have about 300 schools, 100 and something schools shut that are not, they're deserted because, of course, nobody's guaranteeing security. And the national chairman of proprietors, whatever, of schools was saying that we have all the schools, because if you have 315 in Kebbi, not secure. And he's called last week or two. I took the report where he was advising schools to try as much as possible to do what they can to beef up security themselves. And he talked about communal partnership in communal protection with the vigilantes and all of that in the villages where schools are. And he took that report. But then Shegumi now added his own, saying that if we do not negotiate with bandits, there will be no end. And I'm wondering if you can see this circle of negotiation and reabductions, and you're asking that that's a solution. You obviously do not have the interest of the country.
There's been negotiations before now. So what has that?
You negotiate with bandits, you pay them, and they come back for more.
Back again.
Yeah.
So it's a circle. It's an unending circle.
A more holistic negotiation
resettlement
process.
Plan. I don't know.
Maybe that's what he's talking about.
So there's a story here. Federal government plans action as varsity workers. Do you have that?
I want to take the EFCC story first.
Okay.
The EFCC has demanded that the Ogun State Assembly submits all the budget allocation, all the budget appropriation from May 30th, 2015 till date. based on reports of corruption within the present assembly. There's the Oluomo, that's the speaker, said that while they are going to correspond, they are going to talk to the EFCC, they are going to release all the documents, they have nothing to hide, that they are asking for information, and it was like I wasn't at the helms of the affair until 2019. So they would give the information previously available, but what it can guarantee is from 2019 till date, is information they'll be willing to give.
Yeah,
Miriam,
so the Lagos State Police Command is saying that they're putting all their efforts to arrest the suspected killer of the Chief Executive Officer of Super TV, Usifo Ataga. Over the weekend, as you mentioned earlier, there was a death. Of Mr. Ataga. The story is that he had lodged into a short service apartment for 3 to 4 days, and he met someone there. So there was a lady who had gone in before him, and when he joined her, they were supposed to be there for 3 or 4 days, but he was found dead in just his boxer shorts and in the pool of his blood. And
so his friends had raised an alarm that they couldn't find him.
So, and then they noticed that all his belongings, the guest that he was supposed to be with, had left with many of his personal belongings, and also monies were being taken out of his account. So the police said they have blocked the account for now, so that there's no more withdrawals from his account. Right. But also, the owner of the place is with the police because, first of all, the place that she had given out for short service apartment was not registered to be used for that business. Secondly, when you have that sort of business, you're meant to take personal information of people that stay over, and that would have helped with the investigation, but they have none of that. So, but they are working towards finding who the killer is, and I hope they do. So.
We do hope they do get the results necessary with regards to that case. Moving to The Nation now, the major headline here is saying, anger over Buhari's jibe at restructuring advocates. Afenifere Pandef, NEF, PDP, others tackle president. 43.4 million Ikoyi cash with $43.4 million Ikoyi cash with CBN. Apex Bank keeps mum. Borrowing to fix roads, rail, good for economy, says Fashola. Lagos-Ibadan Road, second Niger Bridge soon for completion. Fayemi warns of threat to Ekiti 2022 poll. Ibadan OPC chief asks Makinde to do more on security. Airlines increase fleet/fares. Nigeria to save $156 million on maritime insurance. So let me quickly begin with the major story here. Now, over the weekend, the president spoke about his stance on restructuring, and he made a statement saying that those advocating for restructuring are naive and mischievously dangerous. And so that has generated reactions from groups like Afenifere, Pandef, NEF, PDP, others. They are tackling the president. The president is asking them, okay, what do you want restructured? What is the restructuring you're talking about? That the 1999 Constitution has a lot, that what they should be pushing for is, local government autonomy and all of it, such that when you want to address issues bordering on security, you can start from that level.
It's as if our president is in a different country, but I know that's our let's talk today.
Yeah,
so let's just
leave that.
Hang on to
So let me talk about the Minister for Works and Housing. He was speaking at the News Agency of Nigeria Forum, and he was just saying that borrowing to fix infrastructure is actually good for the economy. He says that that it is in our interest for governments to invest in infrastructure, and that because, first of all, it means that because these sectors that they are being invested in contributes to our GDP, also helps with employment. He says a lot of people, then he says to state clearly, he does not support irresponsible borrowing or borrowing that will, of course, like infrastructure. And he says that look at the rail program that the Ministry of Transportation is working on, that is a 100-year investment, a 100-year asset. And he says many of the super economies, that we go to their countries and enjoy the infrastructure started by borrowing. And most of the biggest debtors are Western countries, So many people had to borrow to build infrastructure. So a lot of Nigerians have been complaining about that and just saying, as long as money that's borrowed is borrowed responsibly and put into infrastructure, we should not be worried.
All right. Before we continue, we'll quickly go on this break. We'll return and continue the conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Auntie, is you? Thanks. I'm just tired. Your heart could be complaining about getting weaker by the day.
This short piece of bread can be your heart warning you.
Jolie, how many times should I?
I know. Chest pains may be my heart, and I need to watch what I eat.
Unbranded cooking oils may contain high levels of trans fat and cholesterol, which clog your arteries, making it difficult for your heart to pump blood. Nowadays, it's even more important for you to embrace a healthy lifestyle and put your heart and family first. Use Power Oil. It is free of cholesterol and trans fat. Power Oil for a healthy family.
Power oil, Power oil.
It's scary, isn't it? Putting yourself out there, ignoring the voices telling you can't. Moments like these are when your fight or flight response kick in. Will you step aside? Or will you go for it? After all, what's the worst that could happen? So, keep trying. Don't stop. Don't give up. Push harder. Give it everything you've got. Because nothing is really impossible when you dig deep. Believe in yourself and go for it. Aladana, available in many variants to nourish you every step of the way.
Beat sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action Toothpaste. Sensodyne Rapid Action Toothpaste. Available in a big 100-gram tube and a small 25-gram tube.
I just want flex, don't need stress in my life. Avoid the yawa, I no want queue for the bank. Sharp, I don't open an account. Digital bank, we get the power, now vote. I pay my bills easily, I'm running things like a boss. Collect a loan with no collateral. Vote is the answer. Vote is the way. Vote is the answer. From Polaris Bank, vote is the answer. Vote is the way.
Take control. Download Volt by Polaris Bank. That's VULTE. Visit the Google Play Store or Apple Store now. Volt is available to Polaris and non-Polaris Bank customers. Volt by Polaris Bank.
We're starting the happiness movement with Molfix.
For baby's happiness, it is important to choose a dry diaper because with a dry diaper, babies do not have rash and are comfortable.
Nigeria's #1 choice of mothers, Molfix Air Dry, has the dryness all the mothers dream of because it's ultra absorbent and ultra breathable, so it stays dry and does not leak. Our babies do not have rash. Come on, mothers, try Molfix and join our happiness movement.
In my house, we may look alike, but we are very different individuals. Everybody believes their way is best. That's why Golden Penny Pasta is our favorite meal.
Golden Penny Pasta, made with durum wheat, is tasty, nutritious, a source of protein and fiber, and non-sticky. So you can cook, serve, and eat your pasta just the way you like it. With Golden Penny Pasta, your way is best. It's scary, isn't it? Putting yourself out there, ignoring the voices telling you can't. Moments like these are when your fight or flight response kick in. Will you step aside? Or will you go for it? After all, what's the worst that could happen? So, keep trying. Don't stop. Don't give up. Push harder. Give it everything you've got. Because nothing is really impossible when you dig deep. Believe in yourself and go for it. Aladana, available in many variants to nourish you every step of the way.
All right, thank you for staying with us. We're still staying with the Nation newspaper. Who has the other story here?
I have the $4.3 million Ikoyi Gates. So remember the money that was found in Ikoyi by the National Intelligence Agency. And this money, as of yesterday, the news was that they don't know the location, exact location of the money. But the story in the Nation this morning is saying the money is supposedly with the CBN and might have been moved to the consolidated account of the revenue fund account of the federal government. But to date, the Minister for Finance, the Accountant General, the offices that matter are keeping mum as to the whereabouts of this money. Yeah. You know, this money that all of us count that time, we counted. You know, it would be nice to have details.
You should talk to us.
And you know, the funds will help us.
So this is Ibarakwa story.
Yes, Ibarakwa story. OPC, the president of Odua People's Congress, visited Ibarakwa. It was also representing the former governor of the Western Region, General David Jem Benwon, retired. And his statement was that the governor could do more, that within Oyo State, many VIPs are still protected by police officers, and that if we had more security officers deployed towards Ibarakwa, knowing that Ibarakwa is a volatile area, would have reduced the impact of what happened in the last, that there were houses were razed, places where people were murdered, that the security apparatus within Governor Makide's power should be used fully to prevent reoccurrence of such actions from taking place. I want to also quickly take the Ekiti story, because the Ekiti governor too, speaking concerning security challenges within Ekiti State, mentions the fact that you cannot have elections before you have a nation, that the focus should be on having Nigeria being one as a nation, and people should leave their partisan issues to focus on security, that if we don't deal with security, there can't be any election, and he's worried about the Ekiti State election scheduled for next year, that the insecurity challenges going in Nigeria will not help us have a democracy as long as we don't solve them.
Very true. Let's quickly move to the Nigerian Tribune, and the major headline here is saying how open grazing undercuts 1.8 trillion naira CBN's investment in agric. Other stories, we have 14.3 million Nigerians abuse drugs. The NDLEA boss is speaking there. COVID-19, UAE eases travel restrictions on Nigerians, others. Afenifere Pandef, MBF, others attack Buhari for calling restructuring advocates ignorant. Save Nigeria from another civil war, Nadeko writes, UN, US, the EU. And then another story here, Buhari has accepted dialogue as solution to Southeast crisis. Ngige, the Labour Minister, speaking there. So someone has the major headline.
This one is very disheartening. So the federal government has expended so far 1.8 trillion naira in interventions towards diversifying the economy and majorly in agriculture. According to the report, the CBN, created various intervention funds, although they granted about 1.6 trillion as loans to stakeholders all through this administration, and they took account of our might in arable lands and farmable lands, saying that 34 million hectares, the total arable lands in Nigeria are, about 6.5 million of permanent crops and 30.3 million of hectares of meadow and pastures. And because of open grazing, when these farmers who took the loan, put together their crops, they can't pay. These loans were supposed to be returned in 3 years. So far, only 96% remain uncaptured, so they're unlikely to recover the monies where there are supposed to be loans to farmers, farmer money and all of those monies, trader money, and they're unlikely to get them back.
1.8 trillion.
The people, the borrowers have suffered losses that are in our faces, and
absolutely,
they suffered some hardship that we can take care of. So for the president to hear this headline, I think he should read it. His advisors also should see the Tribune this morning and see whether open grazing is still a solution.
Take the NDLEA story. So the boss, NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Bugamarwa, retired, said that sadly, no fewer than 14.3 million Nigerians, young people and adults from the age of 16 to 64, abuse drugs, with cannabis being the most commonly used. And then he says that the young people are initiated into using cannabis from age 19, and then they move on to other, psychotropic drugs by age 22. Many young people are using heroin. He says the more you unravel it, the damning it is, especially when you also compare it with what NDLEA is doing. He says that in the past 4 months, NDLEA have arrested 2,180 drug traffickers, and that broadly speaking, the agency was able to seize drugs and cash worth over 90 billion within the first 4 months of this year. So you can see, even though the numbers of those arrested are quite small compared to the number of users and probably traffickers. And in a related story, the NDLEA also arrested law enforcement agency staff. They didn't say which particular law enforcement agency. And what he does is that he sells drugs to people of the university in Ogun State. Wow. And he uses his wife's shop in the camp to sell these drugs. He even has courier people that take the drugs from one place to the other, do delivery. Thankfully, he had been on their watch list for a while, and they were able to arrest him.
Right.
Funnily, though, the school student union were trying to stop the NDLEA from carrying the arrest, but eventually they did that.
There was a gruesome murder.
Let me quickly take this story. It's just a short reaction. Buhari has accepted dialogue as solution to Southeast crisis. So the Labour Minister is the one speaking here, Chris Ngige, because he met with the president on Labour matters, but then the president now decided, okay, let's have a conversation on what is going on in the Southeast. Let's know what's going on. And after the conversation, the Labour Minister said the president has agreed to a dialogue. And a lot of persons are reacting that,
what does that mean?
Is he, Chris Ngige, the person that the president should be speaking with, that he has no full detail as far he is not there. He is not part of Yohanese. He's not part of the. He's not a governor, so he can't really give details or briefing on what is going on in the Southeast. That's the reaction coming from there.
Yes, there was a gruesome murder. A gunman murdered a former presenter with Niger FM. So his name is Titus Badejo. He's also known as Ejanla. He's an upcoming actor, and he just celebrated his 40th birthday just a few weeks back. It was at a club, 407 Club at Oluyole in Ibadan. Said he had been there from like 9 p.m. At about 11:30 p.m., he came out with his friend, and right in front of the club, two men on a bike drove towards where he was, told them to lie down, and they shot him, not the friend. So it was like and it wasn't like a robbery, it was like an assassination. So the Nigerian Union of Journalists are asking that this should be thoroughly investigated. The Commissioner of Police already said that they are going to look into it. There will be a full-fledged investigation. But we are seeing the results of having so much arms and ammunition around the country. There's so much, and drug use.
Yes.
All of that is culminating into this.
Which is very concerning.
Yeah.
The whole
Would you assassinate a radio presenter for?
I don't get it.
Anyway, let's move now to the Vanguard newspaper. Nothing to restructure, you're wrong. South-South governors can. Afenifere, MBF, Pandev tell Buhari. Another story here. Crisis looms. Universities over plan to remove staff, school workers.
Please let me take the Sanu story. So the federal government plans an action towards university workers. This has to do with the staff schools, that their staff are allowed to be on the payroll. This issue had come up about a few years back, 5 to 6 years ago, and there was the National Industrial Court has already created a case favoring the staff schools, but now the government is coming back to take them out. They're not making provision for them in the next year budget. And SANU, that's the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian University, wants to go on strike. Can we please not let us have any strike again? The children have already spent, a lot of universities have spent too many months out of school. Whatever it is, let's resolve quickly before they will go on strike.
I don't understand. Is this supposed to be downsizing? Staff schools are
they are changing. Yes, they are changing them into a different.
I'm told we have to wrap up now because of want of time. Okay. So we'll wrap up here now. Next, we will discuss our hot topic. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
After a long, hard day at work, coming home to a serene environment is very important to me. That is why I choose Adron Homes, because I have absolutely nothing to worry about.
Adron Homes introduces the Vidco Home Series, 2-bedroom terrace bungalows available for sale in all Adron estates nationwide.
We just introduced the new Vidco Home Series. It is about 75% completed. It will have instrumental payments for those houses for up to 2 years without interest.
Be a proud homeowner today with just 5.4 million naira initial deposit and get
have the finished and will have the furnished.
Adron Homes, making the incredible affordable.
You have been at the stage long enough. It's time to become a master and move from noisemaker to newsmakers. The countdown starts now to the most profound global transformation conference of this year, the Mid-Year Crossover Prayer and Prophetic Summit 2021, hosted by Dr. Chris Okafor, ministering Prophet Jeremiah Omotel Fufein, Brother Joshua Iginla. Date June 28 to July 4th, 2021. Time 5 p.m. daily. Thursday and Sunday, time 7 a.m. Saturday, 3rd of July, partnership impartation. Venue, Grace Nation International, 9 to 12 Oshofisan Street off Odozi Street, Erike Bus Stop, Ojodubega, Lagos, Nigeria. Be uplifted with music by E-Man, Joe Praise, Gabriel Peters. Don't miss out. For more inquiries, please call
breakfast gets you up to a great day. How do I know? Because my daddy goes through his work feeling good and always with a smile. Mommy is always filled with confidence. My sister is always in tune. And for me, learning new things becomes absolute fun. That's because all day and every day, the peak goes on.
Start your day with a Peak Protein Breakfast. Peak. Reach for your peak.
When times are tough, we know that as a mother, one thing you should never compromise on is your family's oral health, because they deserve the best. Oral-B, all-round protection. Its great value, it protects your mouth from harmful bacteria and also protects you against tooth holes and gum problems which can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your family's teeth and gives them all-round protection. So remember, protect their future. Oral-B for healthier, stronger teeth in just 1 week.
Not all washing powders are the same. Sunlight adds bursts of freshness to cleaning power to give you Sunlight 2-in-1 for sensational cleaning and freshness that lasts and lasts and lasts. Sunlight 2-in-1, sensational cleaning with burst after burst of freshness.
Guys, we can't leave. We've got to finish the client's order tonight.
This time?
How about some top tea to cheer us up?
Only one bag of top tea makes 2 strong cups, so taste to know more flavor, enjoyment.
great.
friendship, and upliftment.
Wow, this looks gorgeous. Beautiful.
Taste to know. Top tea.
Think Chapman. Drink smooth.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Did she just say she spent the money? You spent the money?
If Trisha was your girlfriend and you can't give her 100,000 naira,
what kind of yet talk the other one now? Eh?
In Nollywood, we know how to give a good shout.
Why they go carry us go inside room and say, come on and sing open the inside, Babo?
Because if we don't, you just won't get it.
Nicholas took care of you. What were you wasting our time then? You had us beg you.
I'm sorry, I was just trying to mess around with you.
What?
Shouting is fun when it's dramatic.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, food prices and consumer goods have continued to pose challenges to many Nigerians. According to a report, food price inflation contributes about 60% of our current inflation figure of about 17.93%. Food price inflation rose to over 22% in the last month. Joining us in the studio now to talk about this is Shehu Usman Jibril. He's the chairman of Mile 12 International Market. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us
on
Your View.
You're welcome.
Now, help us better understand. You know, a lot of Nigerians are finding it difficult. This is a challenging time for a lot of Nigerians, especially when it comes to food prices.
Yeah.
But we need to understand, you know, what are the indices that determines the prices for goods and items such that we are seeing it at this time skyrocketing?
Well, first of all, let me thank you for bringing me down to the station to let people understand the scenario of what is happening. Perishable items are like gambling. That is like a gambling business. You cannot do it, definitely. Many people cannot do it too. But the fact that you cannot do it does not stop you from going to the farm, and have it in the farm. Now, what I'm saying is this. We experienced this thing last year too, because of flood. Last year was a terrible year for us. The flood has taken so many things. And what we were expecting to get from the north, we couldn't get it as much as possible. By now, we should be able to have northern tomatoes, onions. We have onions, but tomato, pepper doesn't come from Cornwall. I'm talking of Kano, Kaduna, and other places that have it abundantly. So it is a season. We need to have it like up to this time, up to like maybe January, February, March, April, May, June, up to July, August even. But
okay,
now,
so last year was flooding. What's the cost for this one now?
This one is lost, a lot of harvest lost.
Okay,
we have experienced a lot of harvest loss. And of course, usually when you have such situation, you need to get a cover-up from the southern crops, which is from Odoba, we have from Benin Republic, we have from Cameroon too. But those ones too are not coming. So it's not time for them to come because we have a shorter time from the north that maybe it's supposed to be like maybe 6-7 months, but we just have it for like maybe 4 months. So we have a shortage of it. You understand what I'm saying? So instead of us to like, as the time that the northern crops is going, we should expect the southern one to come. Like Abeokuta, Udoba, Ilaro, those ones should be coming to cover up those ones that have come from the north. But we have that shortage now. The one from the north is not coming, and the one from the south too is not enough. It's not enough.
Yeah. So would you say, because the prices are, many people will tell you this year, even with the shortages of previous years, this particular year, since the prices have even gone even much higher, is this really only about the shortages? And you mentioned that harvest losses. What is the culprit here? Is it the climate? Is it the insecurity going on in the north? And then, you know, we have the issue of bringing the goods down and transportation and some of the unions saying that they are not going to bring food anymore. Are these the causes for these shortages apart from climate?
No. I think I have to go with the insecurity. For instance, Maiduguri, we used to have a dry pepper from Maiduguri, which also cover up this scenario. But if you don't have tomato, you go for the dry tomato, you go for dry things. Those are the things that come from Maiduguri. But almost half of the farmers in Maiduguri are not farming. You can see where they are. They are displaced. And even the northern farmers, the core northern farmers too, are facing challenges of insecurity. You and I know what they are facing, and they will go to farm, they'll be killed, they'll be asked for ransom to even control what they have in the farm. So it's absurd. It's a serious issue.
There's one that concerns me because, as you said now, there's supposed to be onions. This is supposed to be season where we can consider onions. But onions before the fasting went up and continues to go up. So just before the fasting, I bought big onions, 40, that's one hand for 1.5. And I wanted to buy one hand just this last week for 4,000. You can imagine, and it's supposed to be season. You know, so what exactly is, just as my colleague asked earlier, is it the decision of the onion farmers?
As at that time you mentioned, is that time we're having issue of this Eastern Union, I mean, from the East, when you see they did a lot of things for our people. And of course, you don't expect them to bring as much as possible. But we'll try our best from this axis to make sure that we have abundant things like the onions you mentioned.
What are you doing to ensure we have that abundance?
Well, particularly in Lagos, we have done so many things. You see, Lagos doesn't even have any problem of food items at all. So when
price is killing us.
Let me explain to you. Let me explain to you. Lagos doesn't have problem of food. It's even better you even have it, you know, at even a high price than not having it. We're talking about food.
Yes.
It's better you have it at all costs than not even having it, because it's food you must eat. You are drinking tea now. You are taking everything here. So it's easier for you to take it here with even much money that you have than not having anything.
So are you engaging with these people? That's what I want to know, such that we don't have the shortage in this with regards to onions. That's what I wanted to know.
You see, I'm just the chairman of Malta Market a year and a half now. I have been the secretary, I've been the financial secretary of the market, now chairman. So I know all these things. When I came in, what I did was to engage the farmers first.
Okay.
We have farmers, we have also traders who go to the north and buy from the farmer and bring it to Lagos and other places too. So what that does is engaging them on what are the difficulties you are facing.
Okay.
You know, in this aspect. One, they complain of not having enough fertilizer. It's too expensive. They complain of insecurity. They complain of bad roads. You know, these are the things they face most. And luckily enough for us, the road is going now. They are doing the road is
working on
the road. The security too, as you can see, we have less kills, less people are not having much problem attack in their farms now. Okay. We have that is relatively getting better. So I think things are getting better.
Okay. All right. Before you take your question, Tokwe, let's quickly go on a short break. When we return, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
I'm about to write my senior WAEC. I'm trying to do better than what I did in my junior WAEC.
When it's time to write an exam that's based off of everything you've learned and you realize that you don't know enough, it's pretty scary.
Before you listen, I wasn't studying too effectively. Thanks, my amazing dad. When he found out about you lesson, we decided to just give it a try.
So I downloaded the app and I found myself really understanding.
I was able to depend on them to like teach me, explain stuff to me so I would understand it easier.
There is an app that can help you every day, whenever you need it, and it's really good at what it does.
U-Lesson for exam champions. Download now on Google Play Store and subscribe.
Auntie, is you? Thanks. I'm just tired. Your heart could be complaining about getting weaker by the day.
This short piece of bread can be your heart warning you.
Jolie, how many times should I?
I know. Chest pains may be my heart, and I need to watch what I eat.
Unbranded cooking oils may contain high levels of trans fat and cholesterol, which clog your arteries, making it difficult for your heart to pump blood. Nowadays, it's even more important for you to embrace a healthy lifestyle and put your heart and family first. Use Power Oil. It is free of cholesterol and trans fat. Power Oil for a healthy family.
Power oil, hey, power oil.
Guys, we can't leave. We've got to finish the client's order tonight.
This time?
How about some top tea to cheer us up?
Only one bag of top tea makes 2 strong cups, so taste to know more flavor, enjoyment,
Great.
friendship, and upliftment.
Wow, this looks gorgeous.
Beautiful. Taste to know. Top tea.
Please keep an eye on Jane.
Oh, that's all right.
Uncle Paul, look! I want to be a pilot when I grow up.
That's good. I've always wanted to be friends with a pilot.
Uncle Paul, what's your job?
I help people understand things.
Like a teacher?
Almost. I help explain to mummies and daddies what they can do with their money. I help people build stuff. And I'm always there when they are happy and when they are sad. I help people grow all kinds of things.
You're a farmer!
Not quite. I help people keep and grow their money so later they come back when it's bigger for themselves.
You're a magician!
Just like a pilot, I help people move from where they are to where they want to be.
Thank you, Uncle Paul.
Pilot.
ARM. Invested in your tomorrow.
Don't you know, you'll always be too short, too tall, too plain, too bold, too dull, too bright for someone else. Don't get mad. Get even with new Lux Even Complexion, exfoliating clay and vitamin B3 for beautiful, even-toned skin that glows, giving you lasting fragrance. So rock that glow and work that beauty because you are more than what they say. New Lux Even Complexion.
Mom, we've got you now and always with the low cholesterol goodness your heart needs to keep the rhythm of your family going. 3 Crowns Milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
How we're doing, guys? Is the makeup in progress? Makeup?
Check.
Are the scripts on the prompter? Script?
Check.
Are we set in the VCR? All team in place? VCR.
Check. Clock is ticking, time is racing, lights are. Plans all set. 120 minutes of hot entertainment. We are ready for the mission.
All right, thank you for staying with us. We're still talking food price inflation, and our guest is still in the studio. He is Shehu Usman Jibril, chairman of Mile 12 International Market. Tokwe, you wanted to ask a question?
Yes, so listening to you, I realized that you have a wealth of information that will be valid for government intervention, because the government keeps saying we want food sustainability, we want to have food all year round. But are you in contact in the past over 1 year that you've been the chairman here? Have you been in contact with the the commissioner for agriculture in Lagos? Have they been interfacing with you to see from your own perspective how the cost of food can be brought down and how availability can be improved?
Yeah, I saw this coming about 4 months ago, and I met the Honorable Commissioner for Agric in Lagos State, and she has done so well. I told her that probably this year we're going to have a tough time in perishable items, and there's need for Lagos State government to provide a land we can get farmers that does try and don't fund it for us, so that we can have a big farm to supplement this issue, particularly in Lagos State. She she does very well. She accepts what I said, and she's even expecting us to come and discuss further. So I haven't been to her for now.
Before we continue, Nima, we have a guest joining us via Zoom. He is Dr. Muda Yusuf, Director General, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on the conversation this morning.
Yeah, good morning.
All right. Quickly, before we come back to our guest in the studio, it is reported that food price inflation contributes about 60% of our current inflation, what we are seeing now, and would like to understand what the drivers are from your perspective.
Well, the key drivers of inflation, particularly food inflation, which I think is the bigger challenge that we are facing, are what we call supply side issues. I'm talking about things that affect the supply of food. There are two components of that. There is the factor of cost of production and cost of transportation. Then there is the factor of productivity in output and output disruptions. As you know, most of these trucks that move products around the country, they are running on diesel. The cost of diesel now is about 270 to 280 naira per liter. Those who run generator and those who buy diesel, we know that it's not fun now buying diesel. All of these costs will be transferred to the cost of food because these things are coming from different parts of the country. Then there is also the cost of agrochemicals, some of the things that are used for purposes of agricultural production. You have herbicides, you have pesticides, you have fertilizer, and all of this. A lot of these things have foreign exchange components. You know what the exchange rate is now. First, there's the issue of depreciation of the exchange rate, now around 500 naira to the dollar, or maybe slightly less. You have the issue of liquidity in the foreign exchange market for those who want to import it. That is also added to the challenge of cost. Then we have the challenge of output. You know what the security situation has done to the farming communities across the country. In the northeast, in the north central, and the northwest, even in the southern part of the country. We have quite a number of farmers who are now in the IDP camp. So that is also affecting output. And when output drops, there will be scarcity and prices will go up. So that is also a major issue. Even in states where we used to refer to as food baskets, food is becoming very, very expensive in those states. Then you have the issue of technology. We are not using enough technology in agriculture.
That's true.
And that is not sustainable. For a population of 200 million people, that is also still growing at almost 3% annually. So the use of technology is still very, very low. And it's affecting productivity. It's affecting yield per hectare. So these basically are the issues. Of course, there are general systemic issues around the macroeconomic environment, exchange rate depreciation, money supply increase. All of those things also have a macroeconomic dimension to the general inflationary situation. So that is the way I will look at it.
Yes, sir. You know, you mentioned something I find quite interesting, which is technology use. And I wonder if you could give us examples of the ways that improved technology use can improve productivity.
Well, improved technology use, first you look at things like increased mechanization. If you look at many of the farming communities, most of them are peasant farmers. They are smallholder farmers. Many of them are still using hoes and cutlass. Even in regions where we talk about all this rice and all of them, you see the way they process. Many of them still do manual processing, manual farming, and all of that. And for agri to actually advance, we need to scale up mechanization. We need to attract more capital. We need to ensure that we have more commercial farming, commercial agriculture. And for that to happen, we need to support investors who are ready to put in money in those places. We need to support them with capital. We need to support them with subsidized inputs, equipment, machinery, and all these things that you need for farming. You need to also support them with availability of land. Because if you don't have massive land, there's no way you can do mechanized agriculture. So what 1,000 farmers will do, with the application of technology, maybe 10 farmers will do it. So the use of mechanized agriculture is key. The use of improved seedlings and improved breeds. Because when I talk about agriculture, it's not even only about crops. It's also about poultry, it's about livestock. And it's not to poultry farmers. They will tell you the kind of challenges they are going through now. In terms of the cost of feed, cost of veterinary medicine, and all of that. So this is affecting the entire chain of agriculture. So if you have improved seedlings, the yield per hectare or per acre, it sometimes can even triple. You know, these are some of the things that just the use of space. Now we talk about vertical farming or vertical agriculture, where you don't need very big land like in a place like Lagos to optimize the use of land. That's what we call vertical agriculture. Rather than spread over a long space, you do this kind of thing that the crop is going vertically, and you maximize the use of space. You maximize yield. So these are some of the examples of how technology can be deployed to improve productivity in agriculture.
All right. Dr. Muda Yusuf, we'll have to put you on hold for a bit because we need to go on a commercial break. When we return, we'll continue the conversation with you. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Hooray! You can now buy and register a new Airtel SIM card and enjoy 8 times bonus on all your recharges. Visit any certified Airtel shop today with your NIN and get instant double data and 8 times bonus on every recharge. If you don't have NIN, you can also register for it at the Airtel shop. This offer is available to all new Airtel customers.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
I'm about to write my senior WAEC. I'm trying to do better than what I did in my junior WAEC.
When it's time to write an exam that's based off of everything you've learned and you realize that you don't know enough, it's pretty scary.
Before you listen, I wasn't studying too effectively. Thanks to my amazing dad. When he found out about you lesson, we decided to just give it a try.
So I downloaded the app and I found myself really understanding.
I was able to depend on them to teach me, explain stuff to me so I would understand it easier.
There is an app that can help you every day, whenever you need it, and it's really good at what it does.
You Lesson
for exam champions. Download now on Google Play Store and subscribe.
Sometimes you want something so bad, you work at it, and it just feels like it isn't working. What I have found out is the harder you work, the better chance you have at getting what it is you want. I remember longing for the days I could afford my essentials. I mean, I wanted luxury, but my essentials were priority. Patience, I have figured, goes a long way, even when it doesn't seem. But as they say, good things come to those who wait. Right now, there's nothing that can stop me from being the best. I have worked hard. I have waited. I have my essentials. The world is mine.
Heartburn and indigestion? Try Just Eat. My recommendation for the past 26 years, Just Eat. Reliable remedy for heartburn, indigestion, flatulence, and acidity.
Bye. Bye.
Don't worry, dear. I'll take care of it. How do you manage to keep your fabric so white? Wow! And how do you manage to keep your house this clean?
I always use Hypo to make our white clothes whiter and to keep our home clean and germ-free.
Make your white fabrics whiter and your home free of illness causing viruses and germs with the disinfecting power of Hypo Bleach.
I am Funke Akindele Bello. As a mom, most times we get disturbed or being called for one thing or the other. You know our kids now. And oh, how they love to make us proud.
I mean, we love to see our kids happy.
Their happiness is our happiness. The same happiness we felt when we learned that the original Kellogg's cornflakes is here. The world's #1 is here. I got an invite to tour the Kellogg's factory. It was amazing. Trust me, we're in good hands. It smells so fresh.
It's real corn.
Super crunchy, super tasty.
It's because it's world's #1.
Breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
All right, thank you for staying with us. We are still looking at food price inflation. And before we went on the break, we were speaking with Dr. Muda Yusuf, Director General, Lagos State Chamber of Commerce and Industry. But also joining us via phone is Adedayo Adewale, Commissioner for Agriculture in Osun State. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Now, quickly, before we return to Dr. Muda Yusuf, in the papers this morning, we saw a report saying that Osun State clears about 1,023 hectares for cocoa, cassava, tomato cultivation. Talk to us about this. How is this going to cushion the effect of the food price inflation that we are seeing, and how is this going to help farmers at this time?
Thank you very much. I think one of the problems with agriculture, not just in Nigeria, but all over the world, is the average age of farmers. We found out that the average age of farmers in the entire world is between 60 to 80 years old, and most of the people are moving away. For the young people, availability of land or availability of funds to search for land becomes a problem. And availability of land was one of the things that we identified as a problem for farmers in our state. So one of the things we looked at was how do we get land for the young farmers, for the young people who are interested in agriculture. And we're able to secure land in Ife with the help of, with collaboration with the federal government. We've been able to clear about 1,000 acres of land. Our goal is to clear, to do times 4 or 5 of that. But for this year, we'll be allocating to about over 200 farmers. The E4 is a little bit small. We're looking to concentrate on tomato production. We're looking at 23 hectares of land. Whereas in Ife, for this year, we're looking at 400 hectares of land. That is like the target goal. We're hoping we can actually do more than what our target goal is so that we can achieve more.
So when it comes to farming, sir, I know that the statistics might show lots of older people doing subsistence farming. But when it comes to industrialized farming, there are many young people there. I can speak for, because I'm an investor in a farm, and I have a farm with a friend. That's your state, and I understand the challenges we face setting up the farm. When you're doing your business as a business, you're not thinking about food sustainability or availability of food. You're thinking of commercial. So most farm being purchased, most farm that we purchased, and we have thousands of acres, had tomatoes, okra, all of that, which we cleared to plant cashew. So, and I know people that are doing the same for ginger, doing the same for sesame seed. Young people who have gone into the farm, but they are not doing for perishable goods because it doesn't make financial sense, and there are no incentives for you to put your time into planting corn or planting tomatoes when transporting tomatoes back to Lagos will cost you so much money, and your truck can break down on bad roads. So people are now, the people that have the mind for agriculture are focusing on cash crops and converting the non-available farmland into cash crop. What are you doing, sir, in your state to incentivize people to plant daily consumables, the things that we need, the beans, the rice, the tomato, the vegetables? How are you incentivizing it? Because people are worried about cashing out, getting their money back when they invest their time and money into doing this.
Thank you very much. I think agriculture, it's got to do with it. Personally, I am a farmer. I'm into more of livestock. I'm also into oil palm. Whereas some people will tell you they don't want to go into livestock production because it needs a lot of dedication, it needs a lot of attention. What I would say is a lot of people go for cash flow because of the profit margins. I told you, like in Ifon, for example, the 23 hectares is dedicated for people who are interested in tomato production. Not only are we, not only are we giving them land, we are looking to link them with banks where they can have access to loan. So the farmers who are putting on the fund, not only are we giving them the land, we're also giving them access to loan, and we're actually looking at the youth. Let me give you some figures. In 2016, through the Anchor Growers Program, some states were able to empower 200 farmers to the tune of 210 million plus. That's through the CBN. In 2017, 93 farmers in rice, 48 million naira plus. In 2018, 234 farmers in maize and rice production to the tune of 54 million plus. During Governor Itola's administration, which are the things you said people are running away from, our farmers had access to loan for rice, maize, and cotton. 1,077 farmers from the 234 farmers in 2018. That's a jump of about 900 farmers plus to the tune of 254 million plus. And then in 2020, we jumped from the 1,077 farmers to 4,361 farmers to the tune of 810 million naira plus. It means that this government is actually really working out. That is for maize, cotton, cocoa, and cassava. So within 2019 to 2020, it CBN loan access our farmers had was we jumped from 254 million to 810 million, which is a big jump. It means that we're really focused not only on cash crop, but also on arable crop production.
All right. Let's return to our guest on the other line, talking about Dr. Muda Yusuf, the Director General, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Now, when you look at the policies put in place by government, side by side, measures to address the inflation as well as our diversification agenda, how would you evaluate efforts to really addressing these issues? Are we really tackling it head on? Especially when you place it side by side, the fact that government is also asking that grazing routes be reopened.
Well, the issues they are multidimensional in nature. Now, if you take the central bank, for instance, there has been quite a lot of efforts. Intervention and corporate program, a lot of bonds and all of that. That is from the monetary side. And there has been some measure of impact, But if you look at other factors, because money alone or monetary intervention alone cannot solve quite a number of the problems that we have highlighted. If you don't deal with security problems, which is not, in the space of either the Agri Ministry or the money or the Central Bank of Nigeria, there is no way we can have a major improvement or transformation in agriculture. Because most of the areas where we have a lot of agricultural production are now under siege, as it were, from bandits, from kidnappers, and all of that. So security is key. Then our fiscal policies is also very important. I talked to you about the cost of agrochemicals, the cost of the agricultural machineries, and all of. We need to make those things affordable. We need to scrap all the duties, all the levies, VAT, post taxes. Let us scrap them completely on anything that has to do with agriculture. And we have to reduce the bureaucracy of accessing those incentives. Anything is agricultural implement, and once the customs are sure, there's no need to be going to Abuja to seek approval and all of that before the things are granted. So the fiscal policy, the tariff policy is very, very important, to make these things happen. And anything that requires that technology-driven, technological equipment that we need to support agriculture, we should do a lot more. We have quite a number of agricultural research institutes. If you visit some of them, because of funding problems and all of them, they are not functioning optimally. We have the one for palm produce, we have the one for rubber, all of them like that. So we need to give a lot more attention to issues of research in agriculture. And we also need to address the issue of climate change.
Right.
Because some of these problems are also arising from the problem of desertification. Some of the problems are even having with these headers, farmers' class, all these grazing problems, are also partly a consequence of the environmental problems that has to do with desertification and climate change. So there has to be deliberate policy to address the issue of climate change.
All right.
So you can see that these things, they are multidimensional. We need to tackle it from multiple angles for us to get the right outcome.
All right. Dr. Muda Yusuf, we need to quickly go on a commercial break. When we return, the conversation continues. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ankara shopping with the right place for. That one no fine. Nice.
No, it's too dull.
This one.
Oh wow, it's beautiful. Omo, this fabric, it gon' fade though.
Yeah. Look, make I tell you something. The new area Ankara, it go take good care of it. No right. Not lie, not true.
And the price, cheap.
Try new Ariel on Yankara and colors now.
Enjoy faster connectivity and amazing discounts in the Airtel HBB seasonal offer. Get a MiFi for 9,999 Naira plus up to 55 GB data, or a router for 19,999 Naira plus up to 160 GB data. Offer valid while stock lasts. More data, more you. Reliable home broadband by
Airtel, the smartphone network.
If na one thing we are not like, na stubbornness o. Make you no near me or my family o. Because this golden mon cereal wey we dey enjoy for breakfast, it contains iron and vitamin C, wey dey help boost our immunity.
Golden Morn, make every day amazing.
Nestle, good food, good life.
Introducing the Save and Win Pali promo. Just save 10,000 Naira or more monthly and stand a chance to win up to 5 million Naira and other exciting prizes in the Save and Win Pali promo. Download the Union mobile app to open an account or visit the nearest Union Bank branch. Union Bank, your simpler, smarter bank.
Fresh. What drop could do am? Smart people know that just a drop of Morning Fresh washes 50% more. Try it yourself and see.
Morning Fresh, Nigeria's #1 best-selling dishwash liquid.
Heartburn and indigestion? Try Just Eat. My recommendation for the past 26 years, Just Eat. Reliable remedy for heartburn, indigestion, flatulence, and acidity.
Someday when I grow up, I would like to be a great innovator, or a singer, or a doctor, or even a president.
I believe my son can achieve anything. That's why I support his dreams with Twisco. It's a delicious mix of cocoa, malt, and milk. Twisco is fortified with Enafort, a special blend of vitamins and minerals that nourishing support to get ahead.
Twisco, power your dream.
Blessing and brighten, make everybody be wonder. Waiting because of the shine. Lush hair, long hair or short doesn't matter. Crochet or dreadlocks can be better. Only for girls we know better. Lush hair. So you want to slay? Slay with swag. Gotta be lush hair. Gotta be lush hair. Straight or curly. You know they tango. Lie. Gotta be lush hair. Gotta be lush.
Beautiful people know how to make an impression, and that's why they only trust Lush Hair Extensions to bring out the shine in them. Lush Hair, be beautiful.
Thank you for staying with us. We are still looking at food price inflation, and we still have our guest in the studio. But so many things have been said from other guests. But right now, I want us to look at protecting the consumers. Are there any mechanisms put in place by the market, Mile 12, for instance, international market, to protect consumers? Because some persons are thinking maybe wholesalers and retailers are trying to take advantage of the whole situation.
At all. Absolutely not. There's absolutely no way you can hoard these perishable items. There are things that you absolutely have no way to control them. It is right. If it is wrapped in your farm, you have to bring it down to the market. And I said, no way you can just have this thing. You must bring it to the market and sell, or else you lose. So what will you do?
So there's no mechanism to check the pricing at all?
Absolutely not. There's no way.
My own question is almost similar to Veronica's, and it really about the middlemen too. Many consumers have accused them of hiking price, especially as they seem to enjoy the larger profit compared to the farmers that they get these products from. Then when it comes to access to grants, to aids, to things like fertilizer and seedlings, we have the middleman, who usually is more educated and has more access to government, receive these things, and it does not fall back, to those that matter, the farmers. We're talking about transportation security. I'm looking at some of the solutions, like what you just talked about with the Commissioner for Agriculture in Lagos State. Would you advise that states now push towards self-sustenance? Like when we had the union farmers going on a strike, people in the Southeast were like, we can grow our onions. So should we push for that so that cost of transportation goes down and access to farmers is easier?
You see, the major problem, 90% of this problem is caused by the elites. People that call themselves educated. Somebody that can just, he's never been a farmer, you don't know anything about the farm, but you go and write to the government, you speak big English for them, and they give you money. Meant for farmers. And you either divert the money into something else and leave the farmer in the farm. I said, I've been the secretary of this market, financial secretary and chairman now. That's almost over 20 years. There was never a time, either from federal government, that anybody come to ask how fair you are, what are you doing in this market? Who are the farmers who can support? Who can we help? Nobody has done that to get data, and we have the data. Nobody. Lately, just last month, someone was telling me, Shehu, you guys have money. I said, what happened? He said, USAID have given 1.9 billion, 1.9 million naira to one organization to give farmers. I said, how? Which farmers? I was asking, where are the farmers? Who are they giving the money to? I saw a lady with a trouser. The guy sent everything for me. I saw a lady with trousers. I said, this farmer? I said, no, this cannot be farmer. That's the problem we're having. The problem is federal government need to just look at deeply who are the farmers. Most of this money they give, yes, federal government give money too, but I can tell you wholeheartedly that the money doesn't go at all. 40% of that money doesn't go to anywhere. That's the truth.
So the big man
so the farmers are just on their own. All these things you see are just people who are just working hard. The doctor has said so many things about the technical work, to see how this thing can be done. Mechanized farming also. The typical farmer, these farmers are not illiterate because in their field, they're not illiterate. They analyze farming as if John Barnes, Marco Owen analyze football. Just like you used to analyzing things like this. They are very, very good. They just need a tip from federal government. Somebody will advise them, this is what you do, and this is what I'm going to use.
My question would be, if you had the opportunity to talk with the Commissioner for Lagos, for instance, agriculture, would Lagos as a state that, is the destination for most farmers heading to the west, most of them look to the market here and the population here, wouldn't it be advisable for Lagos to invest in proper storage facilities, silos and all of that? So because we know this is where they bring these goods and most of them are perishable. If we had proper storage, will it not cover for times of scarcity like this, times of out of season and all of that, so that we have...
But how long? How long are you going to sort tomato? How long will you keep all these things?
It depends.
How long?
We can make...
Yeah, but that's what I was saying something about.
Process them. Tomatoes that we import are stored for years. They have shelf lives of 3 years minimum.
We're buying them in tins, in cans, in bottles.
In cans, in all sorts of things.
The doctor has said something about, seed. Those seed is not available in Nigerians. Yes, they are not available in Nigeria. Those seeds are talking about up till now.
Really?
And that is the money the federal government are giving for those so-called farmers to the farmers.
All right,
and it's not
has a
getting to
question
them.
for Dr. Muda.
Yes, let me take it back to Dr. Muda. I read all the LCCI. I read all the LCCI reports. Whenever there's any press release that I see in the papers, I take the stories because LCCI says what I want to hear, says what I believe should be done. What is the gap between the Chamber of Commerce and the controllers of our economy? Because I would think that all these things you're saying, they sound very right. They sound like things our government should be implementing. But is it that they're not hearing or you're not relating with them well enough? How can we bridge the gap from those of you that have the knowledge and those that are implementing in the executives? Dr. Dr. Muda Yusuf, are you there?
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now.
And that is an advocacy issue. Those of us in the Chamber of Commerce and Farmers Association and all of that, of course, we have regular engagement with those in government. But perhaps these engagements are not deep enough, but we need to keep at it. We need to be persistent so that we can scale up engagement, especially with stakeholders. I mean, and your guest in the studio is somebody who has very good knowledge, practical knowledge of what the issues are. You have people who are right there on the farm. And one of your panelists is also a farmer. He's an investor in farming. So if you engage those who are on ground, I mean, you pick up these issues. And if the political will is there to get it done, we will fix this problem. It's not rocket science.
Right.
So see, some of these things are funding problems. Some of them are just policy problems. Just tweak some policies and we see a lot of changes.
About groundnut pyramids, reviving groundnut pyramids and reviving rice pyramids. I think in Ondo it was launched again. This is a government policy. How optimistic are you about such policies now in the Chamber of Commerce?
Come again?
I said recently they're trying to revive these pyramids that we were known for. So the government launched rice pyramids in Ondo. They also launched groundnut pyramids as an intervention from the CBN. How optimistic are you about these interventions that they have in agriculture now?
Well, those are monitoring. Those are monitoring interventions. The issues we have highlighted are far, far beyond the issue of pyramids. These pyramids are not symbolic. Yeah. If you go back there, I'm not sure you find the pyramid there. You know, this is not to launch and to give. I mean, these are symbolisms. We are talking of something that is sustainable. You know, that you see the pyramid there all the time. Not a pyramid you see only when there is a need for one ceremony or the other. So we need something much more fundamental, something much more sustainable, that will attract a lot more investors. People with deep pockets into agriculture, that will attract a lot more young people into agriculture. And for that to happen, we need to also create that kind of space for the sector to be attractive, both to domestic investors and also foreign investors.
Yeah.
And for that to happen, some of these issues that you have highlighted are the issues that we need to address. And we need to address them specifically. We need to engage the stakeholders. Yes. Engage the poultry farmers, engage the rice farmers, cassava, maize farmers, those who are in fishery, those who are in bakery. Let's engage them directly. We know what the problems are and we solve the problem.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Muda Yusuf, Director General, Lagos State Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you so much for your time on the program. Well, joining us, joining us now is Ahmed Alarama, General Secretary of Amalgamated Union of Foodstuff and Cattle Dealers of Nigeria. He's actually in the farm. He'll be speaking with us from the farm. So, good morning. Thank you for joining us on Your View.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Now, talk to us what the situation is in the farm, the challenges you have been facing that you also hear your farmers talk about at this time.
Good. Right now, we are in the farm. Right now, even me too, I'm in the farm. As you know, we are all the farmers. Actually, rain has been falling. Therefore, everybody in the north has nothing to do rather than to go to the farm. So now we are in the farm. The situation is good so far.
Okay. Says the situation is good so far.
Okay, so I know that one issue is the security. The security is a major issue. But another big deal is infrastructure. Whenever I'm traveling, the bad roads, I see trucks break down. Like there are some places that it's almost impossible. The Odoba, there are trucks always breaking down because that road is bad. You go to Oyo, Ogbomosho Road, trucks always breaking down. Ilori towards, I think it's Kaba, like you're going to, it's always, roads are always, trucks always break down. How are you engaging with the government, with the ministers in charge of roads, with FEMA, whose job is to maintain the roads, to ensure that the roads are fixed in time? How can you, have you ever quantified the cost of a truck breaking down on the road and inform them about it? And what has the response been concerning road infrastructure to aid agriculture?
Well, actually, hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Well, actually, the situation of the road was very bad. Even we in the north, when it happens that if we carry our farm products before we reach south or southeast, there is a lot of problems along the way. One is bad roads. All the road has been damaged. We even complained in several occasions. If you come from north, even if you go to Jaba, before you reach Jaba, around Mapa side, the road was very, very, very bad. Even sometimes, if you carry farm products, the motor will stay over 3-4 days in the road without reaching Lagos or Ibadan or Ilorin or wheresoever in the southwest. Therefore, we even reported this issue in several occasions to the agencies that is supposed to be informed, but nothing has been done. Still, if you come to Kaduna State, that is Bundubai, when you are passing this Alif, that is through Niger State, that road was very, very bad, and it was very disaster. Even though, apart from insecurity, the road was very bad. So we are all trying to let the government know that that road is a dangerous road. You can see, apart from insecurity, bandits, kidnappers, armed robbers, even the road was very, very bad.
Okay.
So we are feeling, yeah.
Ahmed Alarama, we'll need to go on a short break here. When we return, we'll continue the conversation with you. Just stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Will this penalty be the decider? What's going through the player's mind here? You could cut the tension with a knife. Is there one more twist in this long, rocky road to the final? And here's the kick, and he scores! They've taken the win, they're through.
Don't worry, my boy. There's always a next time.
It's into Igalo from the wing.
Join the winning team and stream every match with Glow special data plans. For everything Glow, dial *777#. Great supporters of football. Glow.
Auntie, is you? Thanks. I'm just tired. Your heart could be complaining about getting weaker by the day.
This short piece of bread can be your heart warning you.
Jolie, how many times should I?
I know. Chest pains may be my heart, and I need to watch what I eat. Unbranded cooking oils may contain high levels of trans fat and cholesterol, which clog your arteries, making it difficult for your heart to pump blood. Nowadays, it's even more important for you to embrace a healthy lifestyle and put your heart and family first. Use Power Oil. It is free of cholesterol and trans fat. Power Oil for a healthy family.
Power oil, hey, power oil.
Bye. Bye.
Don't worry, dear. I'll take care of it. do you manage to keep your fabric so white? Wow! And how do you manage to keep your house this clean?
I always use Hypo to make our white clothes whiter and to keep our home clean and germ-free.
Make your white fabrics whiter and your home free of illness causing viruses and germs with the disinfecting power of Hypo Bleach.
I am Funke Akindele Bello. As a mom, most times we get disturbed or being called for one thing or the other. You know our kids now. And oh, how they love to make us proud.
I mean, we love to see our kids happy.
Their happiness is our happiness. The same happiness we felt when we learned that the original Kellogg's cornflakes is here. The world's #1 is here. I got an invite to tour the Kellogg's factory. It was amazing. Trust me, we're in good hands. It smells so fresh.
It's real corn.
Super crunchy, super tasty.
It's because it's world's #1.
Breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
All right, thank you for staying with us. We've been talking about food price inflation, and we've had our guests talk about this. But we want to know how Nigerians are coping with the situation. So you can join the conversation and call us on 081-2705-3687 or 091-390-76948. Or you can also drop your comments on our Facebook page. There's no Twitter, so you can't use Twitter. So, Nima, you wanted to ask a question.
Yes.
Ahmed Alarma is still on the line.
I wanted Mr. Ahmed to explain to us the sudden increase of cow and beef in the market today. So we can't. Yes, the prices are extremely unaffordable. Yes, let me just put it like that. So what exactly are the factors that are affecting us? Aside the security that we know already, what exactly are the other factors?
Ahmed Alarma, can you hear us? Are you there? It seems... Okay, you can repeat the question. Okay,
He's back on.
it's like he's off the line now, so maybe you can pose the question to
Yes,
him.
so sir, in my 12, of course, there's also the
What he said, he
market.
doesn't do cattle.
You don't do cattle.
Don't do cat.
You don't do
You
cattle.
don't do cattle at all.
So
Only perishable.
only perishable.
So
goods.
the question I also wanted to ask Malan Arama was if, because he came on the show once before, and we're talking about the Onion Sellers Union and how they were talking with government, and especially the governor of Kogi State that intervened in other matters. I want to know how it's gone so far, and if you were part of that conversation at all.
Yeah, I was part. But you remember that time, I said, I'm not going to be part of that strike. You called me on phone, and I told you my reasons why Maltrap Market and other places will not be part of that strike at that time. But I think everything is fine now. The governor of Kogi State has engaged them.
Again?
Yes, they're in discussion with them on how to pay the ransom, or I don't know how to use it. The intervention they want to do, to assist them in what they've lost. But you know, after that, something happened again in Imo State.
Yes.
So it also doesn't give them confidence of what government is doing. Like if this thing happened in Oyo State, and we are still on it, and something will happen again in Imo State, is absorbed. So I think they are still engaging government in that aspect, and I believe things are going very well because the Onions Association have already, called off the strike, and that was why even onions is a bit cheaper now. Onions, a bag of onions is about 17,000 naira in the market because it's not going. It's not. 17,000.
Sure?
Yes, a bag. It's
We'll
not going.
We'll go with him to the market.
It's not going to the eastern side of the country as expected because of what is happening.
All right, let's quickly take Ahmad, who is calling from Kaduna. Are you there? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Okay. Straight to the issue, food prices and food insecurity. I think the problem first and foremost is that we Nigerians, we learn nothing, we forget nothing. When I was in the secondary school in the early 70s, agricultural science was one of the subjects. Factors militating against the production of food or agriculture in Nigeria has always been there, listed. I know some of my mates are in government position today. What have they done? Or what are we doing as a people? We in the city, we want food prices to crash every day. We want to get them at the cheapness. For this farmers, what you are seeing is for the input and for the labor. This is number one. These people rely on this thing to pay school fees, to buy food to their children, to take their wives and family to hospital. So when they want to buy Panadol, and Panadol, the price of Panadol is determined by the dollar. So what are we doing? It's determined by the dollar because this is most of the components are imported. Today, we are counting towards the next year. Nigerians are going to import RAM from the Niger Republic.
All right.
We are.
Of course.
He's saying that Nigerians are importing RAM from Niger Republic.
Correct,
Why are we doing that? Really, why?
Because we don't have enough. Yes, it's correct.
Eat in this country.
200 million Nigerians.
Some people have also, some of our foods are banned to cross the border. Because
no, not food items.
No, rice.
Rice.
Oh,
Some of our,
just rice,
some of our foods are banned. And some people are still angry about that. They believe that that's why we have such foods expensive. And we've not even seen the flood that affects rice farmers. The flood has not come. It's still expected later in the year. And this, of course, again, would further cause an increase in upshoot in the price of rice. Do you agree that opening of the borders across and without a regulation of the border is the right way to go?
But for how long will Nigeria do that? People who are farming rice have made a lot of money. And of course, if you are bringing the foreign ones, Nigeria will keep, being in the poverty like that. Look, like now, most of these rice mills to open has opened so many ways for people who are doing supply. So many ways. So many people are employed. In the rice, you get broken rice, you get rice bran that poultry farm use, which is making things very, very cheap compared to the raw rice they will bring for you here. You just bring rice for you that lasted maybe 3 years, 4 years to Nigeria. We are eating fresh rice, and in that rice they're bringing, there are a lot of things on it that people, people make money. You take to the poultry farms, people also do labor, transporters make money. So that has really changed. But the issue is, we don't have enough farmers. If Nigeria will have well over, say, 300 million people, and you have less than 10 million farmers, how do you do? How do you
So the truth is, even with this farming thing, I had a conversation on Lagos State. They have a scheme. They will give you a farmland for you to farm. They do the one they launched for cattle rearing. And when you hear the price they're asking you to pay per land that they are giving you, you're wondering, you're not really wanting to encourage us. So that even me that I feel I have saved small saving. What the government is asking me to pay, if I go to Omonile directly, I will get land cheaper. So if the government land for a Greek that is in their Greek scheme is more expensive than me going to Omonile, then how are you indeed encouraging agriculture and farming? So if I believe that if we really want to encourage farming, the land should be freely accessible to someone ready to work with it.
Should be highly subsidized.
With a timeline of when you can do it, because you are not giving us guarantee on the produce. In other countries, they give you guarantee on produce.
All right, we have a caller from Niger State. Good morning. Go ahead with your contribution. We can hear you.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you. Okay, we are struggling to hear you. Maybe you can call again. Right. Thank you very much. Now, you quickly wrap up your question.
Yes, please, because I want to make the point to the fact that some other countries don't leave your produce to market forces. So if you plant corn, the government has a policy that guarantees that at the end, you sell your 1 kg for 1,000 naira. It's a guarantee. The policies have been put on ground.
Right.
It incentivizes farmers to go and farm, knowing that whatever happens, or if there is glut, or if there is scarcity, I can know how much I will get. In Nigeria, we don't have that. So the government must provide other forms of incentives so that if you don't give me guarantee on price, then give me the land free so that I will come and farm if you really want to encourage farmers.
Now, the question...
But you can't dictate for a farmer that you didn't support.
Mm-hmm.
You can't dictate for a farmer you don't support. If you have given a farmer money and say, okay, this is money I give for you to farm, and this is what I want to buy for
sell.
It will be easier. But those people collecting the money are not giving to the farmers.
All right, we have another caller on the line. Gino is joining us. Gino, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, first time caller. Good morning.
Welcome to the show.
I'm watching the show live. I'm not seeing anything. What's that mean?
You're not seeing what?
Hello, hi.
Yes, we can hear you. Hi, good morning.
You are waiting to hear yourself live.
Yeah, it's nice to talk to the ladies out of you. First time
It's delayed.
Yes. I've been watching you guys very well every day. Ajia, hello.
Hello.
Okay. Please, sir, I just want to ask something, please. I've noticed one thing about our Nigerian rice. When you cook the rice, you leave the rice on, maybe you can't finish it, you leave it for an hour or 2 hours. By the time you come back to the kitchen to check, you see ants. Have we added something, maybe sugar or chemical? I don't know. I don't want to know, please.
Do you know she said that some Nigerian rice, when you leave it after cooking it, after a while, you see ants gather them. He will answer your question now.
Is that his area?
No, I don't think so.
She's asking if there are additives.
No, there's absolutely nothing. Because these people who are producing this rice are well monitored.
Yes. Really?
They are professionals, yes. They're just professionals.
I
we should encourage them.
She obviously has mixed rice. So
okay, so one question to you now
point of the retailer.
The issue of, you said it's seasonal. Yes. So are you saying, giving Nigerians your word to say that this too shall pass?
In a matter of just 50 days, I'm telling you.
Days?
Yes, in days. Within just 2 weeks, everything will be okay. I can tell you that.
Every price will be stable?
Yes, for 2 weeks, I can tell you that.
Oh.
By then, we must have a lot of crops coming from Itoke in Cameroon. We have from Benin Republic, so everything will level. And I'm sure, just like what Arama said, virtually every northerner is in the farm now. And we're just eating the remnants of the last season. Yeah.
All right. We have Ugo calling from Yaba. Ugo, good morning. Ugo, are you there? All right. It seems Ugo is not.
I'm calling you for the show.
All right. Good morning. Go ahead and contribute. Make your contribution.
Okay, I'm a friend to myself, and I think one of the problems we have is that we don't have a cold storage facility to store this food when we have excesses. That's why we have so much post-harvest losses in tomatoes and other vegetables.
I agree.
Thank you, Ugo, for your contribution.
Why
are we going to look at, are we looking forward to having storage?
Yes, why don't we?
No, you see, we have so many people that comes to do that. And I keep telling them time and again that what we have in Malta is a marketplace that people comes every day with goods from different places. And there's absolutely no way you can store a tomato, for instance, in the market. How do you store it? Because when someone brings tomato in the market, it's ready to sell it. Within just 2 hours, every tomato finishes in the market. Within just 2 hours, you offload another one. So what do you do with that one you keep in a cold room?
Are you saying that there's so much consumption that it does not stay? Or do we have...
There are a lot of consumption, there are a lot of demands of it.
Sir, this is it. So sometimes there are excesses in the market. We know, we watch. I buy tomatoes. I have someone in my shop that buys for me at 6 when they are trying to cover. So I can buy cheaply. I bought a basket for 1,000 naira before. So because of those kind of things, it doesn't work well for the person bringing. But if we had a proper storage where that person can secure his sales and his investment in that particular, he will get the proper value he should.
Value for money.
It involves huge money. I was in this farm in South Africa. They store for a week. They have a very big store. They put tomato in a carton and they keep it.
Yes.
Within a week, they bring it out and sell it. But in Nigeria, who will support you? An average farmer who will go to the farm and nobody assists him, who will now assist him? Nobody is ready to invest in this business. People are not investing.
So
they believe it's a business of a poor man, a business of layman.
Would you encourage someone who is willing to invest money in storage facilities? So this is a private individual. Would you say to the person that there's a lot of money to be made, because that's how entrepreneurs like to do business? If there's going to be profit for them, would you say there's enough profit to be made in providing storage facilities for produce farmers and sellers?
Particularly the one we have in Nigeria, I don't think the tomato we have in Nigeria can be saved or stored as expected.
Why?
Because of the seeds.
Okay.
It's seeds. There are a lot of different seeds. You have seeds
that
our
own is still organic. The ones that you are buying abroad is GMO. They process it and
and it's very expensive.
I think they're
very expensive. That's it. It's not easy to store.
Maybe you don't tomato seed here. We also have several wastage. So back then, when I was in law school, we bought certain things extremely cheap because the farmers needed to extract. So they'll pour it on the road and waste tomatoes just so that they dry it and extract.
So bottom line, it still boils down to government support for everything
and right people
and technology.
Right people.
All right, but we must thank you, Shehu Usman Jibril, chairman of Mile 12 International Market, for spending your morning with us. Yes, it was a long conversation.
Yes.
We're off to Mile 12 now to get produce for cheap.
Now, so you can join us. Ladies, we must thank you. I'm sure we had a great time this morning. Thank you, ladies. Well, that's all we can take on today's show. See you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye now.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Are your kitchen